Well, we're getting some interesting stuff here on the Titan submersible, including the leaked transcript, or so-called leaked transcript, coming out over the last few hours. There's been a lot of articles on it. The first thing I want to say, apparently that U.S. Navy, the audio from the implosion, that was apparently fake. So I apologize for that. But when it comes to this, listen, I'm not falling for this again. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go through the entire so-called transcript, and if it ends up being real, more power to it, but I'm just going to assume this is completely fake because, number one, we don't even know who leaked this. Engineer reviews accuracy of leaked Titan sub transcript. So yes, this was a different YouTube video done a few days ago where the engineer says, I think it could be real based on the events. My personal hypothesis, I think somebody tried to make it as realistic as possible. It just seems so ridiculous that this would get leaked, that the communication would be as so, but we're going to go over it. Rumored transcripts showing the last communications of the imploded OceanGate Titan sub have leaked online, but is it real? This is 2 hours ago, and this is a pretty good article talking about it. You can see originally posted, I guess OceanGate has a subreddit, leaked Titan communication transcript. There have been rumors on Telegram about leaked messages claimed to be transcripts between Polar Prince and the Titan. Initially, people speculated that these documents were what James Cameron's remarks were based upon. However, later it was discovered that these initial documents circulating were fake. But in the last 12 hours, an allegedly authentic leaked document has been circulating. Apparently, it's one that was originally mentioned last week, but it wasn't wildly circulating. I won't share it here due to the rules around unofficial sources. I know there are experienced people reading this, and I was just curious to hear any thoughts. So I believe this got taken down by their subreddit. So here it is. Here we go. You can see the time. I'm just going to give a quick general summary. It starts in the upper left. All systems are functioning normal. This shit just seems fake. No. We're going to give it a chance. All systems are functioning normally. We're in good shape, continuing our descent as planned. Superb. So you can see from the sub versus from the top. From the top, mother boat versus the sub. The boat on top of the water says superb, proceed. Over 45-minute mark, current depth, confirmed status. So I guess they're at 45 minutes at that point. Remember, they didn't lose signal until an hour 45. So they're at the 45-minute mark going down. The sub says depth at 1934. All systems stable and descent continuing as planned. Happy crew. Excellent! Exclamation point. Another message from the top. You're at the hour mark. All is smooth sailing here going down. You are at 75 minutes depth status. Do you need to adjust velocity? We're noting an alarm from the RTM, reducing velocity descent depth. So it seems like something starts going wrong at around 9:28. Understood. Do you need to ascend? No change with thrust. The rate of descent is increasing at 35. Going to release the ballast now. Stand by. Yes, agree. Release. No movement. Preparing to jettison the frame. Update when available. RTM indicator status. Frame jettisoned. Multiple attempts needed, but starting. Update please when available. Crackling sound at aft. Can you identify the source? Negative. RTM status. Trying to run diagnostics. Ascending now, but very slow. Sounds have subsided. Global RTM alert active, all red. Understood. Any codes? Depth, ascent rate, updates when available, please. And then I found more of the messages in this article. They later start to ascend but rise slower than expected. According to the text, the transcript says communication was sadly lost at 9:46 a.m. We are not receiving you. Update, please. Status and depth report. We need you to respond on status and depth. We are unable to read you. We are moving to recovery coordinates. So this is something that originated on TikTok, guys, and we're not doing this again. All right, I already got nailed on the sound because it did seem legitimate like the implosion sound, but that was another thing that originated from TikTok. And according to this post, the entire transcript is very likely fake because on a previous dive, there was an individual that shared a picture of the text codes that were used to communicate, and they were all a single or few letters like SOS, ACZ. There's also the idea maybe OceanGate because, you know, let's be honest, this is not the most airtight operation going on. We understand that. Maybe they decided not to follow those codes and just give off words, but you can see all of the codes, just the single letters. We really didn't see any of that in terms of the transcript. So if that is true, that could have just completely disproven the entire transcript right there. Alleged transcript saddens TikTok community. What in the... Yeah, so I guess this is part of the article, but look, I would be very surprised if any of... Because there's now been multiple transcripts that have been released. I would be very shocked if any of this turned out to be real at this point. Although this was originally floated by James Cameron. I'm just going to say this. There is the theory that they did know something was wrong and they were trying to ascend to the surface, and this transcript does align with that idea. Them realizing something's wrong, they're trying to ascend, they're going slower than they should have been. But again, the other thing with these OceanGate dives, a lot tends to go wrong with them. But there is the idea that we're starting to put pieces together. They knew something was wrong and they had to come back up because of it. What we don't really know is if they knew it was as bad as it turned out to be, and I'm guessing that's a no, because implosions happen in milliseconds, and I'm sure they didn't think they were going to implode, and probably were completely blindsided by that. But I thought I'd share these transcripts. Again, there's just so much of this crap going around. I mean, it's story after story. You know, I would be completely... There's like... Listen, if this is real... This thing originated on TikTok. So we're supposed to believe that the transcript from Titan originated on TikTok. Look, I'll give them credit. It was well researched. It was well done. You know, if it's fake, I give them credit. If it's real, it's crazy that it somehow gets released on TikTok. But either way, I just thought I would share that because there are more stories. This was something that I didn't even see this. It came out about a week or two ago, and now it's resurfacing. They might be different transcripts. There's just so much going on, but this is like the most realistic one, they say. But when you look at the codes and the things they use to communicate with, there is the thought that maybe because OceanGate and the submersible, they're not very professional, maybe they just didn't use them. I mean, that could always be as well. But according to someone who took a photo of a previous dive, and you know what? Let me just give everyone the big enchilada on what actually happened and what is the context clues that we can use. After millions of hours of research into it, my conclusion, very likely they knew something was wrong, but Stockton Rush reassured the passengers, the crew. This is something that normally happens. We deal with this all the time. We're returning to the surface. But this audio, it seems completely fake. I mean, pretty much every leak that we've had has been fake. And this seems like another one of those things where it's too good to be true. Oh yeah, the audio is going to get released on TikTok. Come on, let's be honest. We're smarter than this at this point. If this is seriously the audio, that's great. But it seems like some type of reenactment, like, oh, yeah, we're going down, everything's great, and then it turns. That might be how it happened, but a lot of this is probably done in one-letter codes, as shown in that previous post on the codes they used to communicate. Maybe it's because OceanGate is unprofessional, they weren't using it. That could always be something that you could wonder. And then, yes, so the implosion noise that I was sharing... it was confirmed and brought to my attention that it was faked. Thank you to the person that DM'd me. You can see the U.S. Coast Guard has not released any audio or video from the submersible that imploded. So I think this whole story points to the idea we're not going to be getting breaking news and breaking leaked stuff from TikTok, because that's where all this stuff seems to originate. And it's kind of weird, like, why would you write a whole fake transcript? I just don't understand the purpose of that. You want to fool people, but it's like, what's the end goal? I don't know. But either way, I would say this is pretty much all fake. I guess we'll have to see But either way, I would be extremely skeptical on all of this crap. Really, anything that comes out, if it's not, you know, widespread information or released, you know, from the investigation, it's probably not real. But guys, either way, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.